I should have known earlier that love can make you do anything. It can cloud your ability to think clearly and even blind you to the consequences. I never believed in ghosts or spirits before, but what happened, what I let happen, changed everything. After the miscarriage, Lupita became hollow. Our baby was gone, and with it, our will to live. For months, Lupita didn't even leave her room. Her empty, sorrowful eyes still seemed to be searching for hope. Seeing her so tormented was nothing short of torture. Helpless, I tried everything: therapy, medication, giving her space, spending time with her. But nothing worked. I couldn't stand seeing the love of my life wither away like this. The grief of losing the baby we had longed for so desperately was unbearable. So when Greg suggested a strange and unconventional solution, I agreed without hesitation. "You know, Jack, there's something," he said hesitantly. "People call it the cursed doll." "A doll?" I asked, puzzled, as he handed me a small package wrapped in tissue paper. Inside was a doll so lifelike that I froze. It had Lupita's soft, sad eyes, my sharp nose, and her familiar smile, as if it were alive. When Lupita saw it, a maternal instinct seemed to awaken in her. She held the doll as if it were flesh and blood, caressing it. For the first time in weeks, I saw her smile, my heart filled with relief. Maybe this would help her heal. But I didn't know this was the calm before the storm. That night, I woke up to find her sitting on the rocking chair, holding the doll tightly to her chest. I thought it was a good sign. She was talking to it, humming lullabies like a mother would. But as the days went by, it became clear that nothing was improving. In fact, something deeper and darker was happening. Soon, Lupita stopped eating, sleeping, or talking to me. She spent every moment with the doll, feeding it, changing its diaper. She had named it Baby Blue. I didn't understand why, but I was too scared to ask. I dreaded what she might say. One night, she came at me with a knife. "Stop, Lupita. This isn't real," I shouted angrily. Then I saw a side of her I had never seen before. The woman who lunged at me was no longer my wife, Lupita. She was Baby Blue's mother, possessed in body and soul. 259. As I stumbled backward, my eyes fell on the doll. I was horrified. 303. Its glassy eyes gleamed with cunning, and its tiny mouth twisted into a sinister smile. 310. The room suddenly felt cold. Was there something inside it? 316. That afternoon, I decided to stay home and watch. Everything seemed calm until night fell. 3:23. Around 1 a.m., the fire alarm blared. I jumped out of bed to find the kitchen filled with smoke. Lupita had left the kettle on the stove. "It's crying," she said, tearfully, clutching Baby Blue to her chest. "It says I'm a bad mother." My blood ran cold. How could a doll cry? Desperate, I shouted, "This doll isn't real. It's all in your head." But she couldn't hear me. Her face went pale, and she fainted, still cradling the doll as if it were a real baby. That night, a strange sound filled the house. A muffled sob like a child crying. My heart pounded in my chest as I realized the sound was coming from the nursery. When I pushed open the door, my hands trembled. In the dim light, I saw it. The doll was crying. Its eyes, Lupita's eyes, glowed red in the darkness. Sweat dripped down my forehead as I moved closer. When I picked it up, the crying suddenly stopped. As I examined it, my hands shook. Beneath its synthetic skin, I felt something hard. I tore it open, and a small black device fell out. A camera. Someone had been watching us. They had turned Lupita's pain into their entertainment. I gathered all the evidence, the doll, the camera, and contacted the authorities. But the website linked to the doll was blocked. Those who operate in the dark web are experts at hiding. To escape them, we changed our home and phone numbers. Lupita is still undergoing therapy, trying to heal from the trauma of losing our child and the horror caused by that doll. This experience taught me one thing. Grief, though born of love, can lead you nowhere if you let it consume you. We must not let it dictate our lives. As long as we are alive, we must keep trying to live. Moving forward is the mantra of life, no matter how many times it knocks you down. Last night, I received a message from an unknown girl. The message read, "Don't click on this link," followed by the link itself. Naturally, I clicked on the link. The link directed me to a YouTube video from the 1960s, a video of a circus performance. The title of the video warned, "Do not forward this video to 221. But of course, I did exactly that. At exactly 2:21, I paused the video. Everything seemed ordinary, a black and white footage featuring 3 elephants standing, some dwarf men in front of them, and a crowd of people. However, at the center of the screen, there was a large drum with the words Comment 13 written on it. Curious, I scrolled to Comment 13. The comment contained another link. Clicking on it, I was directed to my own YouTube channel, specifically to a video I had uploaded 3 days ago. It was an informative video satirizing the current state of the publishing industry. But something felt off from the beginning. The video glitched at the start, and then strange numbers and letters began appearing on the screen. My voice grew distorted and deeper as the video continued. Finally, the screen turned black. The random numbers and letters dancing across the screen transformed into a new message. It was my home address. Terrified, I immediately shut my laptop and stepped out of my room. This was a new level of creepy that one could encounter online. How did they get my home address? I couldn't understand it. How had they tampered with my video? It seemed impossible. I went to the kitchen, poured myself a glass of orange juice, and returned to my room. When I reopened my laptop, there was another message from the same girl. It read, "I hope I didn't scare you." I debated whether I should respond, but my mind was racing with questions. Setting the glass of juice aside, I started typing, "How do you know my address, and how did you mess with my video?" For several minutes, there was no reply. Then she sent a picture. A clear photo of a beautiful girl with a well-proportioned figure, long black hair, wearing a tank top over yoga pants. On her top was a symbol that sent shivers down my spine. It was the exact symbol I had designed for my novel. But my novel wasn't even published yet. It wasn't even complete. I hadn't shared its draft with anyone. So how did this girl know about the symbol, let alone print it on her top? My head spun. I usually avoid being rude to women, but this time my message began and ended with frustration. "How do you know so much about me? Tell me how you're doing all this. Is this some sort of sick game?" I demanded. Her reply chilled me. "This is our little secret." "What nonsense is this? Have you hacked my computer? I'm going to the police." "Hacked your computer? I can barely operate PowerPoint," she replied. "How do you know my home address and about the symbol?" "I guessed," she said casually. "Guessed?" My patience was wearing thin. "Tell me who you are and how you're doing all this." "I just want to be your friend, babe," she replied. "Stop calling me that and answer my questions," I snapped. "I already have," she said. "When?" I asked. "Didn't you read Comment 13 in that video?" she responded. Frustrated, I retraced my steps. I returned to the circus video, scrolled to Comment 13, and read it carefully. The comment said, "Don't scroll to Comment 20. But now I was determined to get to the bottom of this. I scrolled to Comment 20, which contained another link. Clicking on it led me to a 7-year-old video of mine, where I had discussed some editing advice. This time, the video contained a note. "Don't check the edit logs of this post." Ignoring the warning, I opened the edit logs. The logs contained a response to my earlier question. It read, "Thanks for the orange juice." I froze. Turning to my right, I saw an empty glass of orange juice. I hadn't taken a single sip. How was this possible? What was happening? Imagine connecting with someone so deeply, you believe you've finally found your soulmate, only to discover that the person behind the screen is far from what they seemed. This is not just a story of betrayal, but a chilling reminder of the dangers lurking in the darkest corners of the internet. Meeting Kelly felt like a dream. A strange, dark dream, but still a dream. I was never the kind of guy who had girls chasing after him, nor the one who confidently approached them. My comfort zone had always been the glowing screen of my computer, where I could control conversations, hide my awkwardness, and avoid constant reminders of my failures. When I stumbled into that dark web chat room, I wasn't searching for anything specific. I just wanted to escape my boredom. That's when I met Kelly. She was different from anyone I'd ever spoken to, confident, funny, and genuinely interested in what I had to say. She not only believed in my silly ramblings, but also connected with them, making me feel seen and valued. For a guy like me who always preferred being alone, she became my world. Kelly wasn't perfect. Just like me, she had her struggles. She shared her battle with hair loss, a condition that made her feel invisible and unattractive. Her vulnerability struck a chord with me because I knew what it felt like to be overlooked. We bonded over our mutual sense of not fitting in with the rest of the world, and before I knew it, I was falling for her. After weeks of late-night conversations, we decided it was time to meet in person. Without much thought, we chose an empty park, quiet, secluded, and away from the prying eyes of the world. It felt like the perfect spot to finally see each other face to face. The park was eerier than I had imagined. The sun had just set, draping everything in a dim, misty veil. I arrived early and sat on a rusty swing near an old bench, waiting nervously. The place was unsettlingly quiet, and as the minutes dragged on, my anxiety grew. That's when I noticed him, a creepy old man sitting on a bench some distance away, staring straight at me. His gaze wasn't ordinary, it was deeply unsettling. I tried to ignore him, but it wasn't easy. I pulled out my phone and texted Kelly, asking how long she'd take. She replied, saying she was walking since she couldn't get a cab. Great, I thought. Just what I needed. To be stuck here alone with some deranged stranger staring at me. I pretended not to care, but his piercing gaze was getting to me. My instincts told me something was very wrong. Suddenly, the man stood up and started walking toward me. My heart raced. I'm not someone who panics easily, but this man's presence was terrifying. I quickly got up and walked away, texting Kelly about the old man as I moved. She asked me to wait a few more minutes since she was almost there, but I couldn't stay. I needed to get away from him. In the distance, I saw a bus stop illuminated by a flickering streetlight. It wasn't much, but it felt like a haven at that moment. I hurried toward it, trying to calm myself down. When I reached the stop, I glanced back and saw the man standing across the street, smiling at me. That smile sent chills down my spine. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was knowing, as if he was enjoying my fear. I needed to hear Kelly's voice to confirm she was real and that this wasn't some cruel joke. But I didn't have her number. We had been so engrossed in our chat room bubble that we never exchanged numbers. I cursed myself and texted her, claiming my internet was glitching, and asked for her number. She replied instantly, but the seconds it took to receive her response felt like an eternity. Finally, her number appeared in the chat, and I wasted no time calling her. The phone rang once, twice, and then I heard it. The ringtone echoed through the empty street. My heart sank. I looked around frantically, but the street was deserted. There was no sign of Kelly or anyone else. Panic engulfed me as I called her again. This time, the ringtone was louder and closer, coming from directly behind me. Slowly, I turned around, every muscle in my body tensed. The old man was sitting on the bench at the bus stop, smiling that same sinister smile. "Hello, Ryan," he said, his voice dripping with malice. "I hope my hair doesn't bother you. I didn't want to wear a wig on our first date." My mind raced to process what was happening. Kelly's words about her hair loss, her emotional confessions. It all came crashing down like a terrible realization. This wasn't Kelly. It had always been him. Before I could react, he lunged at me. Instinct took over, and I swung at him. My fist connected with his face, and he stumbled back, blood dripping from his nose. I didn't wait to see what he'd do next. I turned and ran as fast as I could, his taunting voice echoing behind me. "Wait, Ryan, don't you love me? I thought we had something special." I didn't stop running until I was home. I slammed the door shut, my chest heaving and my mind reeling. I couldn't believe what had happened. I felt violated, disgusted, and utterly humiliated. I had been played from the start. That night, I deleted every trace of Kelly from my phone and computer, every memory, every chat, if Kelly was even her real name. I swore never to visit the dark web again or trust anyone I met online. The dark web is a dangerous place, and sometimes the people you meet there aren't people at all. Thank you for joining me in this journey through today's story. Remember, not everything is always as it seems, and sometimes the most chilling truths hide in the shadows. If this tale gave you goosebumps or made you think twice about the unknown, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Hollow Fears and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. We're building a community of thrill seekers, and your support helps us bring even more gripping tales to life. Stay curious, stay cautious, and until next time, remember, the world is full of mysteries, some better left unexplored. See you in the next one.